Hey, what's up everyone? Back to the topic of the Mandela effect. So, I have a few things that I want to talk about. They're most shocking when your family members have alternative memories. For example, my mama has a memory of this event, but it's slightly different. Now, I remember going through the square and or I remember being on the main highway when this event took place, and she remembers actually going through the square. But for me, that is two separate memories. I'm not giving the details of the event. I might in a future video, but for this video, I'm keeping it short. So I chose a portal as the background. I just said portal, and it's amazing when individuals have two different alternative memories. I said I respect her memory and she respects mine. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. We remember two different memories on how this took place. And I'll make a video tomorrow regarding this. They talked about Susan Summers, and they mentioned Summers on Nightline last night. They actually called her name Summers throughout the entire episode. They called her Susan Summers until the very end when I started recording, and they started calling her Sommers. So that was also an alternate memory. And then they started talking about how some people seen this dress that Melania was wearing as black, and they claimed it was actually blue. And then you've got this thing where people are hearing alternate things. Now, it's really amazing when people in your own family, particularly your parents, remember something completely different. Now that's what we have this happen so often. And or you swear you put something here, and then you say that there's this charger, this Anchor charger of mine. I fell asleep in the Nissan. I have it out there. I had it plugged to the phone charger, and I woke up and said, well, I'll bring everything in later. Went into the house, laid down on the couch, fell asleep. Later that day, I go back out there to get it. It's not out there. And then all of a sudden, Mama says it's in the chair. And she said, you must have fallen asleep in my chair and laid it there. I said, no, I didn't. I did not. And I didn't. The charger's still missing. The cord is there, but the Anchor, that Anchor, it's an expensive charger, too. I got it for a really good deal back several Christmases ago. And it's an Anchor portable charger. This black charger. So, a power bank. Charges the phone like 4 or 5 times. And go figure, it's gone. But the charger appears in her chair. So that's the kind of thing that we deal with. And it makes many people start speculating about alternate realities. And I've written about things like that for a very long time. And in a way, it also seems as though something is messing with you. It's just like, why? That day, it seemed like during the full moon, there were a lot of things messing with us. Things were screwing up, things were messing up. And you'll also hear in a previous video that I made, you'll hear things in the other room just sliding and knocking, just falling off. You'll hear things falling off, just moving in the other room by themselves. And I said, I don't know what that was. No one's in the room. That was earlier tonight. And no one was there. But items just flew out onto the floor. It's interesting. Thankfully, also, people are really nice to me. A lot of times, I guess they sense my energy. They'll do kind gestures for me and things like that. But I appreciate that a lot. And I must put off a friendly energy that everyone likes most of the time, and I'm greatly thankful for that. I would like to get further in life. That would be nice, but the spirit energy has been heightened. But this whole situation where things were one way and then they wind up being another, begins to get frustrating sometimes, especially when you are certain that you did something and it turns out to be completely different. Like, one time, there was one, I can remember one positive scenario when I was in 7th grade. And one of these teachers that I didn't like at all. This was a good ME. Now, this was a good shift. This was before I knew about this phenomenon. Now, mind you, I've always been fascinated with alternate realities and altered realities. So, we had this homework that was due. There was a paper that was supposed to be due, and I forgot to do this paper. Well, I wake up the next day, and as I'm sitting down at the desk, and I'm thinking, oh crap, I didn't do this work, crap, and I didn't do this. I'm going to get marks off. I'm going to get a huge, get in trouble by the teacher, who was a butt anyway. She was a jerk. Well, it turns out I open the folder, and that entire paper is written, and I'm like, what the heck? And the paper's done. Fully. In my handwriting, with my name and the date and everything. As if I had shifted to a reality where I did the paper. And I handed the paper in. And it was 100. The grade was 100. But I never did that. And also that day I answered a question, had no idea what the true answer was, but I just answered it and got it right for my group in the class, thankfully. I just guessed. Also, another thing that shocks me, I remember that teacher teaching that Istanbul was the capital of Turkey. Now, a long time ago, they changed the capital of Turkey from Istanbul to a completely different place. They changed the capital of Istanbul has always been Ankara. Ankara is the capital of Turkey now, not Istanbul. Now, during the whole, the days of the Byzantine Empire and all of that, I remember the whole thing of the Mongolians were invading China, and Mongolia was a larger portion, and it was to the south, and now it's to the north, and it's just flip flopped, and Mongolia was a completely different. I remember the Mongolia was gone practically. There was nothing left of it. Now there's still a huge portion of Mongolia, and it's to the north now. It's in a completely different location, Mongolia, for us. And I remember that it was taken over during the dynasties back then. It was taken over, and they built the Great Wall and separated it. But now that's not the case. And now the Mongolians. There's a South Park episode. You stupid Mongolians! You will tear down my shitty wall. It was like tear down the city wall from South Park, and it was a play on that. And I remember the Mongolian Empire basically just kind of disappeared, but went away. But now there's a large area of Mongolia, and that's a change for me as well. And it's still thriving. But back to the whole change. I wrote that. I didn't write that paper, but apparently the whole paper was written. That's a good Mandela effect. That is a good ME. And later, there was a situation where they said that I didn't like this one teacher. Her name started with an L, and and I remember just like, I can't stand her, and then I was like, man, I couldn't stand her. Well, suddenly they said she must have a ghost or a spirit, because they said the glass in the projector just took off, and it stopped in midair, went back and forth, and then stopped in the middle of the classroom, busted, and then flew against the wall. They said that's what happened. They said her room was haunted the day that I was out sick, and she didn't believe it. So I guess something was trying to tell her something. And there was so much that happened around me, and regarding myself, I was able to cause weird and strange things to happen using energy and things. I was able to do a lot that I wish I could focus all of that energy and cause certain things really, really good to happen. But anyway, just like on this one episode of Supernatural, they stated that enough people, if they get together and focus their energy on something, in old Chinese philosophy, it states that they can actually cause something to manifest. And you'd think we could be able to all focus together at the same time and cause something positive to manifest. The energy to not create energy, but because there's no that's in physics, you can't. They state you can't create or destroy matter, energy, or whatever. But it would be nice if we could all get together and just kind of focus our energy, and the collective get together and focus on something and cause something positive or good to happen. Instead of, it's like the complete opposite of black mass, like white masses. Just put out positive vibes and positive energy and cause something great to happen. Focus on the same thing, and maybe it'll be so, you know. It will be so. It will be so. It will be so. 3 times 3. So mote be. It will be so. Think about that. Just let it be so. Positive energy. Let's just all focus on something. Focus on something positive. But those are some personal MEs that I had where the paper was just completely done. Completely done for me. I wish that would happen more often in life. But yeah, it was completely done. And I didn't do that. Another situation is I fell asleep, and in the middle of the day, it was during summer break, and I fell asleep. And my phone at that time, I guess I was in 9th grade, and the smartphone that I got at the time, the Motorola Atrix. I had a Motorola Atrix at the time, and that was a really good phone for the time. It had all these cutting edge features that they talked about at the time, where you could plug in the TV with that HDMI display and all of that, and use that as the media hub, basically use that as the media connection. And I downloaded several songs, so many songs, videos, and pictures, and just so many things to it. And I remembered all of a sudden, I fell asleep, and I was in the bed. I wake up later and find on my phone that I looked in the download section, and the notifications that there was a download. And it was about physics, and it was some kind of a thing about the structure of the universe, and I remembered it was a cone shape. I can't really do it now, but it was like, it was a cone shape. And it was just like talking about the structure of the universe. That in the middle is the best I could do. It was like a cone shape, and that was like the structure of, it's like an old tiki, which tiki, by the way, is also an ancient term that was Hawaiian term. Ki means in the earth, or the earth, and ink means, in means within the earth, in means inside, and then ki is earth. So it's like each name, like Enki, the ancient god, they talk about Enki, that means within the earth, or inside, from inside the earth. And then the Anunnaki, from heaven to earth came. It means those that from heaven to earth they came. That's what Anunnaki translates to. Anunnaki. Ki is from somewhere. It's like from out there, from the earth, but they come to the earth. From heaven to earth. Ki. Anunnaki. They come from the heavens, and ki, to earth. Ki means earth, so that means Anunnaki. Comes from heaven to earth. Beings that from heaven to earth they came. That's what that means. But just some random bits of knowledge there, some information. But it's that's that structure there. That's this whole conical structure, cone structure, and it was about matter and space-time and time travel, and from point to point, from universe to universe, and things like that. It was the structure of the universe and the structure of the multiverse and time travel and how it would work. And that particular information was downloaded into my phone at 3:33. Now, I thought about that. It's almost like an awakening situation, 3:33. And that information I woke up with downloaded to my phone at 3:33 p.m. And I looked at that and I was thinking, I was like, that was downloaded at 3 o'clock? And I know they say that Jesus Christ died at 3, during the 3 o'clock hour. That's what the general consensus seems to be, that the Lord died at 3. and then at 3 a.m. a lot of the other type of energy takes place. Which for some reason also I've used to always got this like large burst of energy in 3 a.m. and my mind was always thinking during that time, but like right now my mind is rambling continuously. I've been that way throughout the day. My mind has been more of the anatomy, the scientific mind, the scientific points of view, the structures of things, the astronomy, the everything. That's what's been on my mind today. And I've been able to just randomly just talk it. But anyway, yeah, it was downloaded into my phone, downloaded in there without my knowledge, and it was like it happened. It was almost like a reality shift. And I have been talking about a lot about the awakening before I ever even knew what it was. And I said things will be different, including you and me. All the time is coming where we will see a new awakening reality. Things will be different, including in the blink of an eye. Things will be different, including you and me. All will be changed in the blink of an eye. And I talked about stuff like that. In the twinkling of an eye, that all will change, including you and me. All will be different, you see. All will be different, including you and me. And I wrote that article, I wrote that about in 2011 or 2012. And I felt these things happening. And many things that I wrote wound up resonating with the ME phenomenon. So I just wanted to share a little bit about this, my own personal journey and personal experiences regarding this phenomenon. Peace, much love, signing out. I don't know what's going on. I'm not noticing anyone's comments in the comment section below. I'll go into my account again and say, comply with the new COPPA rules or whatever they are. So peace and much love, signing out. My links are below if you'd like to show support and if you'd like to email me. And be sure to turn on the notification bell, subscribe, like, share, and leave your comments. I love you all so much. Signing out. Be as safe as possible in this crazy reality. Signing out.